cool and how they did it. See, you don't actually fight a system. You create another system that makes that one obsolete. But you must understand that system properly.
So where you're coming from to know where you're going.
Exactly. So I'm not going to be witch hunting. I don't have time.
The residential areas in Lagos have been coming. If you become the governor of Lagos State, how would you prioritize housing in this state? Because you look at a system where almost on a weekly basis there are reports of maybe a collapsed building somewhere, not necessarily because the quality is that bad, but we don't even have implementation to put all of those things in place. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you want to prioritize the issue of infrastructure in Lagos, specifically housing?
Housing is number 3, right? My first is transportation. It ties into housing, right? Because we're trying to, my vision is to deliver 4 new rail lines in 4.5 years.
I saw that.
Right? So the idea is you open up and connect Lagos in a way that then reduces the demand. There's a disruption because the developer has to go to the government, get title, then go and start fighting these people. Own a flat in a building, right? You can have a title
On the flat.
on the more fluid, right? And in that process, you increase the pace of development in terms of building. And then also we are going to be doing and put it into a social housing fund. But this social housing fund, what we're going to do is we're going to be giving it out in a lottery-based transparent system. Very open, transparent system. Now, Lagos State will tell you they've been doing social housing. But the honest truth is that most of these projects get sold to themselves before it comes to the market. I'm sure most people know this.
And by the time it comes to the market, it becomes you can't afford it.
So the model that we are looking at, and we're in different conversations. I'm currently in conversation with some bankers as well, trying to see the kind of product that we can create to allow this to happen. Is you can come in, so these projects are done, it will be open, Lagosians can go in, look at it, see it and all of that. And then a lottery date will be open. Now, you have to belong to the Commonwealth of Lagos to participate. The Commonwealth of Lagos is something where you belong to, whether you're an informal market woman that's paying tax to your lodger. Well, that's going to reduce my government. But and then also whether you're paying taxes as a formal worker. So you belong to the Commonwealth of Lagos, and that allows you entry onto this affordable housing list. And then once it's ready, people enter on a lottery system. A lottery ticket can cost 100,000 naira. But the winners will be transparently giving. It'll be transparent. There'll be just the way we have a World Cup. We will really put it in people's faces. Because a lot of projects are happening in Lagos, a lot of people are not aware. So we are going to spend a lot of money putting it in people's minds that this is the process to get housing. And the thing about it is you get it. If you need to move, you move out, that goes back to government. It does not go to the private sector. You cannot sell it on. It is retained for people on a need basis, right? And then also we'll be encouraging property developers to go and develop in decentralized Lagos. We want to open up the Ojo Badagry axis. We want to open up the Kurudu axis. Get a lot more people to live in there. Like you're saying, you're living in Ogun State, but even Lagos State. You see this, we're about to enter into it's not a megapolis, the one that's larger than megapolis, between Lagos and Abidjan. This is going to be the place for the largest growing place for population in the world over the next 30-40 years. So we must be thinking about how to make sure that people's lives are working very efficiently in this space.
Okay, before we move away from this one, I still want to stick on this issue of infrastructure. When flood happened, Lagos seems to be the biggest, we suffer the most for it. People can not access their accommodation. You go out to work while you're at the office, once you hear that rain is falling in your area, you just know that tonight is either you get canoe to enter your house or you're not going at all. Now, how do you want to bring all of this into? I know there's a lot about climate change, maybe all of this is affecting it.
Let's not make excuses for
Good.
ourselves.
So what I'm saying is that how do you want to fix this particular problem? Beyond, if you say people should decentralize Lagos, there are a lot of people that will tell you that I work in Ikeja and the farthest I can stay in my office maybe Surulere, maybe Yaba, maybe Musha, and all of that. How do you want to take this thing out of the grip of a few people? I've had people that are dealt with agents and it's really frustrating. They'll tell you it's 50-50. You pay 200,000 for a flat, you pay 100,000 for damages or for this, for agent fees and all of that. How do you intend to do this? Are we expecting to have a public-private participation, or you think if you become the governor of Lagos State, you would be able to handle this and provide a decent, affordable, and dignifying accommodation for Lagosians?
Thank you so much for that question. It's actually
especially the ones in the coastal parts. So.
Exactly.
Yes. See, you see, on a coastal city like Lagos State, nature provides sinkholes and natural gutters, which we call wetlands. Right, that's where most of your water goes and this country. Unfortunately, we have haphazard developments all across Lagos State that does not take into any account those wetlands or wetland protection. You just see a developer just come and build apartments and blocking all the channels for water to go. I was with residents of Makoko, that entire community. If you look across the bridge now, you still some feeling has started to happen. But they are doing it gently. Until after election, God forbid APC come back into office.
So
then you now see full
dredging.
All of that is going to now prevent the water that's coming out from that whole Yaba axis into the lagoon. The flooding is going to start happening and we say, oh, climate change. What climate change? The fact of the matter is, yes, there is climate change. But we have to be more proactive with our drainage systems. When from our primary drainage to the secondary channels, which are canals, a lot of canals are completely the drain of these things, so that we expect a certain level of rainfall is mechanized. We're affected. It's also how we design solutions. You cannot have a pump operating at the same energy capacity when water is falling 6 inches. They are not. And we must have a wetland protection policy that ties directly into our urban planning and urban regeneration plans and are sacrosanct. Because guess what? Sea levels are constantly on the rise. That is climate change we should be talking about, right? You cannot just build an Eco-Atlantic. You don't dredge the waters properly, and then flooding is now affecting the people in Ikorodu.
You now say it's climate change.
You go and do, you now go and
sandfill, and then the role of Lagos Island is
exactly.
Is in trouble.
You go and sandfill. What's this place where Channels is? Is it Sherry? Sherry. You don't dredge the Ogun River, and then you complain that the place is flooding, climate change. People are wearing rainy boots. People have moved out because places have started flooding. We must also dredge our waterways properly. See, there are scams going on in this state. I know people that they've been given contracts to do these things. They go and do it. The water has already been dredged. And they complain, but they say just keep quiet, go and do it. And you find out that the money that they put for these things 5 times the money that they gave him. We must dredge our waters properly, transparently. This is the money to dredge per kilometer. Put it public. If Ghana can do it cheaper, we must go and look at what is making Ghana to be able to do it cheaper and get better at it, because the cheaper we can do it, the more effective we can be. Build proper embankments, so that kills 2 birds with 1 stone. 1, you now start taking care of flooding, and 2, you start to be able to use proper ferries on our waterways. During Jack on this time, they're moving about with ferries, not these motorized canoes that people are moving with.
All right. There's this conversation about local government autonomy.
100% I'm correct.
I don't want to.
I don't want to let you know. So when you ask the question, just let it
directly. Every other government in Nigeria
is quite progressive.
Now, so somehow you've answered my question. I just wanted to ask you that you become governor.
You have to go straight to
grassroots development.
Yes, we must have. Okay, so there are 2 stages to this thing. This now currently, because what happens now is the appendages of governors. Like when you look at them, you see, let's make that happen. Because if I tell you that I'm going to be sending money from directly to them, people stay together. Because you see, the problem with all these inner roads, thin roads in Lagos State, one governor cannot be thinking about all of them. It should be two. And then for the government, we are going to set a benchmark standard. So you cannot do a road. The same story.
Into 98.3 Mainland FM, we have with us in the studio Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour, Lagos gubernatorial candidate for the Labour Party. It's been an interesting 30 minutes. Some people
maybe they want to call me to tell me something else.
I guess you've ticked some people's, somebody. So
they should calm down.
Wires somewhere it has been ticked. All right, but let's keep moving now. One major thing that's very synonymous to Lagos State, we always ask this question to anybody that is going to be taking over Lagos. Lagos has too many human beings for such little space. All right, and then there's also this marriage or alliance or cohabitation between the current government and the
Park management.
they've changed the clothes, but it's still the same human being. All right, so you have all of that in Lagos State. You see people having to leave their homes as early as 4:30. They get home by 11 p.m. Everybody's a lot of people, his blood pressure was another level.
Public transportation,
yeah, the traffic situation. Some months ago, the JD1, Joint Drivers Workers Association or so, they went on strike because how can one bus driver be paying up to 12,000 per day to people that at the end of the day,
non-state actors?
Thank you very much.
They're not state actors. Is the Lagos State
They are married.
It's the system that made them.
They are in bed with the system. That's why I started with the marriage or the alliance between the current government, because they seem to have nothing to do about it. And some people have even said that maybe that's why the rail line took so long, because they wanted to keep those guys on the road.
Solvent. Keep them solvent.
It's okay. But I'm not the one that said that. But
I said that.
all right, so permit me, GRV, because I just feel like calling the entire name.
Gbadebo.
All right, so what exactly are your plans for?
I hope we're not going on a break soon.
No. There's no break.
Okay, so
for the traffic situation and public transportation.
This is something there are layers to it.
Okay.
Let's start first with the Gbadebo phenomenon. It's a very, very big problem. Very big problem. Some people have gone as far as saying if the APC returns in government at state and national level, just know that Gbadebos that are going to be running this state. And the fact of the matter is, you've seen what happened in Lekki 2 weeks ago, where they just came and gathered cars and were banging on the cars and everything. You saw when they did their march, and people did not realize, like, are you literally letting us know that these are the people that are running Lagos? Because they are. Now, this is the issue. It's growing is multiplying like parasites. So many young men just wasting their lives away. Discipline is what makes a boy become a man. Discipline, going to school, having responsibility. But then you find that now they've created a situation where it's just okay to stay with your friends on the road, have a plastic thing in your hand, hit cars and collect money. And a lot of people are looking up to that and saying that this is a way of life, so they are dropping out of school. Lagos State has 2 million out of school children, and it's only going to get worse. The more that these people are moving with audacity because they are backed by the state. Able to create a job for you to do, you do it. If you see how emphatically they said yes, we will. I now realize that some of these young boys went to school. Some of them finished secondary school. Some of them have OND. But this is the life that we've been exposed to. So we need to create an alternative means for them to earn a living. We need to equip them with employability skills. Because those young men I met yesterday, they want to work. I saw it in their eyes. They are tired of this life, but it's just the only life that they know. We need to work with them as stakeholders, give them options. These are the skills that we can make. Incentivize companies to hire them by reducing their taxes based on the number of people that they hire from that community, right? And have a wholesale system, right, that's bringing these boys into an alternative means of livelihood. Now, we also need to understand that a lot of them are also on drugs intentionally because their use is during political season. All this collecting money is oiling them and just keeping them. Their main use comes during election season. My government is not going to need to intimidate anybody to vote me in. I'm going to come and work very hard. And if the people decide that I deserve or they want to hire me again, that is fine. I'm not going to intimidate or boss anybody around to put me in office. So that job description of intimidation has to go. It's gone. So all of you now need to get skills. No more baboon they walk, monkey they walk, baboon they chop. I met with these bus drivers several times. We had several meetings. And if you see the pain that these people are in, because they are the ones that take the risk to maintain the cars. They are the ones that wake up and are driving these cars up and down every day. They bear the cost, and then someone is just earning even more than them. It's unacceptable. So That's one stage. That's one stage of it, right? The next stage in relation to traffic, we've talked about it. The inner roads, setting lifespans for roads, setting benchmark for quality of roads, because potholes can cause so much traffic, right? So once you have benchmarks for roads, and then making Lagos State a truly intermodal state, not the one is lip services for the TV. You know, we commission fire trucks, but then the 2 days later, a house was burning for almost so many hours and no fire truck came to help. We should stop doing things for the gram. Government should need to stop existing for newspaper headlines and the gram, right? We need true, not just development, but carrying people along so they normalize movement by water, right? Because a lot of people are concerned about boats tipping over. So we need ferries. When you say a ferry, you know that this ferry is not going to tip over.
Okay, not the one with
not the ones that we currently have. And we must do proper dredging of our waterways. And in the dredging of our waterways, collect data that we can put to the private sector. If you want to get into marine transportation now in Lagos, you don't have any document that can let you know this is the
whether it's profitable or not, or the depth of water.
This is depth of water in all this place, so I can map out my routes. This is data is important, and this is why I talk about visionary local government chairman, because as a governor, you need to work with local government chairman to
achieve some of these things.
A lot of data. How many children are being born in this local government? How many people have died in this local government? You know, how many children are in school? How many mothers are divorced? And how is that affecting them being able to get their children ready to go to school in the morning? Right? Because it's not enough to just have free education. If a woman has been abandoned by her husband and she does not have a means of living anymore, those 3 children are not just going to find their way to school. She's not a bad mother, but she's distraught. How is government going to step in? First, we must have that data. There must be a place where that woman can go to local government and meet people that have empathy, that can collect that information, and the state can step in. Right?
Okay.
And, sorry. And lastly, I've talked about water, I've talked about transportation by train, right? And I've also talked about roads. And also the last one is the BRT lane must be opened up to the private sector. It's not enough for it to be a monopoly anymore, where one company just owns the rights. No. Once you have the capacity to have a bus that meets certain standards, you are allowed to apply the BRT lane.
Just because, like the way the e-hailing bus cars are doing.
So especially with technology, bus hailing apps and all of that, because we have a deficit of buses. We need buses. Yeah. Those BRT buses can only carry 40 people.
I mean, you need to see the queues.
People.
Rush hours.
So we need more. So it's not enough for one person to just own these things. We must open it up. The main focus of governance is to make the lives of the people better at any cost.
Okay, one of the big responsibility, if not the top responsibility of any government at every level, is securing the lives and the properties of those people, the people that, you know, made their franchise, trusted you with their mandates, took all of the stress and the pain to vote into office. And I can tell you statistically that Lagos is not one of the safest places in this country. There's been constant reports of, you know, traffic robberies, you know, burglaries, stealings left, right and center. What do you think let me put it this way, what would you do to fix the security problem that we have in this Lagos? Don't forget, on daily basis, if you go into the major entry points in Lagos, whether you're talking about from this side or from Bega and all of that, you see people coming in their numbers, in trucks, unregistered, unidentified. If you drive through the old Magodo axis, you just see them, the truck would stop, they will just get down randomly and they just go into the streets. Nobody's checking them, nobody knows where they're coming from. So how do you want to fix the security challenges? Because there was a day I was waiting under this Anthony Bridge to pick a bus, and I was with my phone. I'm talking about past 7 or 8, and a lady walked up to me and said, boss, I told the phone, that means I should keep my phone. At about 7:42 in Lagos. That means if I lose guard with my phone there, somebody could just pass by and snatch the phone, and that's about the end of it.
But why are you pressing phone at the bus stop at 7 p.m.?
I've waited there and there's no bus. So something had to keep me occupied till the bus comes.
Okay.
Now, ideally, for a state that claims to be, that's got the idea of what a mega city should look like, even at 1 a.m., I should be comfortable enough to use my phone anywhere.
Exactly.
So how do you want to fix the security challenges that we have in Lagos right now?
Sorry, just quickly tying to that one, I want to also get your thoughts on your Kada ban. I don't know what your thoughts are. Are you going to sustain it? Do you think it's something that's actually working as regards security?
Or even the total ban?
or a total ban, or because there are some places in the states that we still have the Okadas running. All right, so
thank you.
Yeah.
So in terms of security, we are touched from one part of it, which is the whole Agbero phenomenon in Lagos State.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to work with them as stakeholders. The ones that are on drugs, we rehabilitate them. We're not going to treat them as criminals, right? And treat them with a human face, you know, to create alternative means for them to earn a living. So that's the first part of it. Secondly, local government, right? We must. So there are two sides to it. We're going to be collecting information in an informal way at local government level. So let's use the example you gave. Yeah, at the bus stop. Let's use Ojora for instance. Your phone gets snatched. There are people you can go and see that same night that phone will come back out.
Correct.
Right? I know this for a fact. In Nigeria, I know the people you go and talk to. In Apapa, I know people you go and talk to. So there is an informal exchange of information going on in every community. Lagos State, as much as they call it a mega city, is a collection of communities, right? And we must have informal informants in all of these communities that are directly working with the local government. They're gathering information. They're ensuring that whatever is happening is being recorded and reported and properly documented, right? That would then serve as a deterrent, because then the police can be a lot more effective, right? So that's the first layer of collecting information. Secondly, there is a digital means of collecting information. So for instance, I alluded to it, being a member of Commonwealth of Lagos, you have to register. The process of registering will capture all your biometric details, pictures from the top, from different points, because we are going to have significant surveillance across the state to ensure that it's a safe state. So as you are moving, people can track where you move. When you look at London, you're going to the richest parts of London. For instance, you might be in, I don't know, Belsize Park or very expensive parts of London. They don't have a fence. Those windows don't have burglary proof. Why? Because they know that you know that the camera is seeing you.
And they also know you.
And they know you. So that's the deterrent. So first, the Commonwealth of Lagos would know us. Will know us. All of you that are in this Lagos that are part of us. This, we know you. We can identify you. If you do anything wrong, we can find you. Right? And we're going to make it very easy for people to access. So I'm talking about having a center on every street in Lagos State. Not that you have to go and make long queues and take so many hours out of your working day, because we want you to be part of it as fast as possible. So we're going to make it very easy to access. So that's that. And then we're going to continue the partnership. I have to acknowledge Lagos State has had a good partnership with the police. I've seen a lot of videos where they give them cars. We're going to do that and do that even more. Right? So we're going to have a healthy relationship with police. We're also going to continue to push for state policing. And we're going to align with everybody that is pushing for that as well, to ensure that we can have state policing in the near future in Lagos State. But also, Lagos State must start to run as a 16-hour city by the end of 4 years and a 24-hour city in 8 years' time. That's the only way businesses can actually really start to get return on the investments that they put in Lagos. They must, like you said, why are people constantly rushing home? You can go to a gallery. You can go to see, you just so many other things you can do that can allow for more people to earn a living. If Lagos State is running the way it's supposed to run and people are not feeling unsafe, right? And that's where we need to get back to.
All right. Well, just like what you said, you know.
I'm so sorry. Your Okada ban.
Okay. All right. Because I have one very important question for probably open the phone lines.
So I do not believe in just blanket banning things. I think that's lazy governance. I believe that when we put the local governments in place properly, every Okada that is working in local government will register fully in that local government. You must tick all the boxes. And then we are going to color code the entire motorcycle.
Okay.
Color code the entire motorcycle. And that motorcycle cannot go outside
of that local government.
And we are monitoring it. The moment you do that, when you want to renew your license, that bill is going to be there. You are going to come and meet that bill. Right? So you are operating that particular place, because the first mile and last mile is a real thing. There are so many people that where the bus drops them to their house is a very long distance. We have aged people in our population as well that cannot carry. There are women that are coming from the market carrying heavy load. So many things, right? And we need that option to be there. The important thing is we must be able to track them, You must be able to know the people that are doing this thing, and you cannot just come in and be operating without proper licensing at the local government. And this will also be a means for local government to generate revenue.
All right, but I think if I don't ask you this question, I'm sure my mom is in Lagos Island listening to the show, and she's not going to forgive me. Well, the Tinubu Square, I don't know when last you visited that place. It's now a dump site. That's a monument that even as a young person we're so proud of. We go there, the fountain and all of that. And a lot of our other monuments too,
Other edifice, yeah.
Has become, it's now in a sorry state. For tourism potentials, maintenance of monuments, and then I'm going to tie this to urban regeneration. If you go to Lagos Island now, it's a sorry state. The infrastructure, the buildings, everything is down. What do you want to do about urban regeneration, and then the idea of a monument, and then what you can call tourism potentials of Lagos? What would you do about that if you become governor?
I don't know how you just brought me to my favorite topic.
He's an architect, so what's it?
I really like urban regeneration, so
yes. So we to build on tourist potential, we must sell our history and package it in ways that will attract people. I'm talking about people coming from Brazil, Southern America. The Yoruba culture is even bigger in Brazil than
even Lagos. The relations with Lagos, yeah.
Many museums that can be built. And so much history
Lagos.
is in Lagos Island. All the fight against colonialism, all the first people that lived
the
there,
Sierra Leoneans, the Brazilian quarters, they're there.
All of the history of Lagos is there. There are some architects that I know have taken it upon themselves to restore these buildings and to label. When you walk around London, you see labels on a building. Mozart lived here in this year, right? These are things we are going to bring back to Lagos Island, especially because a lot of people that have houses there, a lot of them have moved out and they are renting it out, or part of their family is staying there and everything. We will have a conversation with the entire group of people that are there. These are the things we want to do. And like I said, I told you we're talking to some bankers on housing, because there are different products we're trying to look into. Is it possible to set a value for the buildings that are in this place? And then it's like an equity pool where all of you have equity in this thing. So now we are going to develop it, and that shared equity you have, you'll be...
So you need to even remain in that squalor.
That is one option. So these are things that we are going to have to test with the people, sit down, talk to them, and see the best possible way to move forward. But all our monuments and things, we must sharpen it up, make it truly beautiful. All our waterfronts. I was with people from the Riverine community earlier this afternoon. I was saying, you want to go to the best beaches, you have to go to Riverine communities, but they are not connected to Lagos. They've been left behind. They don't have primary health care. They don't have access to schools. So many things. But in connecting all of this, you're creating tourism potential. In making Lagos safe, you're creating tourism potential. And the ability to earn foreign exchange and bring that into your system is good for everybody. Everybody wins. So these are things I'm highly focused on. Our history, we must start to tell our history. A lot of people, that's why people say Lagos is no man's land. Because they don't know the history.
Lagos is some man's land.
So you have to tell the history. So you have to tell the history. Not in a way that you're othering people. But just letting them know these are the things that happened here, and we celebrate it. We celebrate the Ayo Festival. We celebrate it properly. And make it truly a tourist thing. We must keep our eyes on the prize. What is the price? We want dollars and pounds, and any other
what we have
to come into this
Lagos.
state. Because when you look at the best livable state currently is Valencia, Spain, and you look at the geography of it, it's exactly like Lagos.
Even Venice,
waterfront. Exactly. Why can we not make Makoko a place where it's an art district and people, artists coming from all over the world are going to Makoko and they're going to see art? Why not? Why does there just have to be somewhere we are straight to squalor and lack and deprivation, right? And we're going to, I'm very passionate about that, and I believe it's something we'll be able to easily achieve.
All right, let's open up the phone line, because
the line is on fire.
Yes, it is. I wanted also to look at, the public school system is also something that's very, very, very important. Education is very expensive in Lagos. Majority of the children are in private schools. The public schools are, I don't know.
Even the ones in public school, they don't see themselves as students.
No,
they're just leaving 8 o'clock o'clock and come back by 4
They
o'clock.
faff a lot in this school. All right, let's open up the phone line before, so we wrap things up in a bit. But then 09136000410, 09136000410. That's the number for you to call. We have Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour with us in the studio, the Labour Party gubernatorial candidate for Lagos State. He has been able to touch a whole lot. So if you also have anything that you like to get his thoughts on Lagos, a lot of people, have vested interest in Lagos State. So let's kick the ball rolling. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Sandra.
Good evening.
Yes,
You have just 1 minute. Just ask a
Yes,
question.
1 minute. Let me just go straight to the question.
Your name?
My name is Sufuma Found. My brother is Sherry.
Okay.
My question to your guest there. Now, is it true that the Labour Party, number one, I did not hear most of his adverts. Maybe he's using the presidential advert to cover himself. So much of him on his own advert as the government.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not hearing much of it because it's only the candidate where almost people after it. Now, my question, is it true that they don't have a senatorial candidate or House of Representative or Lagos State member?
Absolutely.
You mean currently sitting or
aspiring.
candidate?
No. Towards
Candidates.
next year.
Okay, candidates. Okay.
A candidate for senator, House of Representative, and a Lagos State House of Assembly. So
Okay.
that's my question. And also, I wish him the best of luck for
Thank you so much.
It's okay, Former. Thank you. Do you want to take like two?
2 or 3 questions. Okay,
Okay,
so, no
all right.
question.
Hello. Good evening. You need to speak a little bit louder. We can barely hear you.
Okay, my name is Shogun.
Okay.
Okay.
Shagun, where are you calling from? We're with you. Oh,
Okay.
all right. We lost that. We didn't lose Shagun. We
You
lost.
lost the call, right?
Sorry. Hello. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Edward Ademola from Alapuko.
You're
Okay.
welcome.
That is Ijayo Jokoro SCDA.
Okay.
Mr. Governor to be, how are you, sir?
I'm great, sir. Thank you so much for
Please,
calling.
my question is very, very simple. This government want to kill the pensioner and the masses about Lagos State University. Lagos State University.
Okay, Lagos
They increase the tuition fee from 25,000 to 150,000 for the past 2 years. Please help us do something about it when you get to the office.
Okay.
Lagos State University did not have hostel. The one in Ekpe, the hostel is duplicated. And even the one in Ekpe, the hostel is so cost. Please, the masses of Lagos State are suffering. Come to our aid. Someone who increase money from 25 to 150,000. Pensioners spent 8 years, it did not increase this money. After this spent 4 years, it did not increase this money. But someone who is there to kill us. Please,
It's okay.
be there in Jesus' name. God bless you.
Okay, another question. I think.
Hello. Good evening.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
It's a fact, good your God.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I greet our guests.
I greet you too.
For the Chinese Lawat of it, I've heard so much about our guests. In the other platform, there are so many things. I want to say by me, it's okay. I just wish the government to do the right thing this time around. But if we say the same thing we normally do, right? It's all the serious. You have to say so many things that are supposed to be. Because it was a special state. No other the country. But what I think today, my brother, I don't know.
All right.
So then, even I wish you could have come along. Because that's what I come here the other day. And somebody like that.
It's okay, Mr. Alawa.
Without one like this, I don't think I'm able to.
Let's take questions.
Thank you, Mr. Alawa. We appreciate it. All right. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Sandra.
Yes.
And then, Mr. Fawad.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay.
I meet our governor.
It's okay. What is your name and where are you calling from? And
My name is Unity Bestman, as usual.
okay,
Yes,
straight
ma'am.
to the question.
Okay. My question is, help me tell our candidate that we want the campaign is very down.
Okay.
Let him call the campaign, let the campaign be hot so that he can accept, so that people will know it. So that's my and then
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think we can respond to some of
Before we,
this.
So I guess the first question was about adverts. We're starting that in January, heavily.
Okay.
You know, we don't have bullion vans, so we have to manage and stretch our resources and time it properly. Myself and His Excellency Peter Obi, we're going to see a lot of surge from January. I'm sure you would have actually even started to notice.
I mean,
some surge.
the posters are coloring Lagos right now.
We
Yeah,
start
we
to
have
notice
actually.
some surge. So it's not because we don't want to do it. We are in a party that does not have people that have stolen a lot of
So
money
we have to
and
be
are using it.
strategic.
We have to be strategic with the little resources we have and manage it the way we plan to manage Nigeria and Lagos State. We have candidates. The court, you know, the process was one that went through the courts. The party had an issue uploading the names of candidates. The court has granted them a judgment that compels INEC to open the portal. So they are going through that process and list them. So we have senators, we have House of Reps, and we have state assemblies. So don't worry about that. And some of them have already started campaigning and putting themselves out there. In terms of education for me is one of the things that we need to spend proper money on. Currently, per capita, we are spending about 8,000 per child, right, on education, and that needs to be increased significantly. But at the same time, we also need to start to introduce student loans. I think it's very abnormal. You know, we have normalized suffering and smiling. School fee season is coming. Parents are getting high BP. Yeah. You know, and look at what he said. Look, you heard the pain in his voice.
From 25 to
150,000.
He's a pensioner.
Yes, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So when a child is able to go to university, they should have access to student loans. That
Soft
should be an
loans,
option. Soft loans. And then now with BVN, those loans follow you. So you can, even if you say you want to run to another bank,
Your credit status is there.
and this way, and this is also infused into the Commonwealth of Lagos, where you have access to credit for education, right? And it's linked to your BVN, right? So that more people will not be stopped. Oh, I cannot pay for JAM form. No, you can get credit for that, right?
The moment you start earning,
The moment you start earning, it takes it out.
That's what to
But you
do.
must be given the opportunity to earn. And that's what His Excellency Peter Obi keeps talking about, consumption to production, right? You need more people to be equipped with the capacity to be more productive in society. So we're very focused on that, and education is extremely important to us, and improving the quality of the education as well. You talked about the kind of education that we're getting in public schools. It's a shame people that went to public schools cannot send their children to public schools. Actually, Lateef Jakonde provided the platform, the education platform that most of these political elites got to be able to get to where they are
it's been
today.
messed up.
Completely
Free
destroyed.
education,
Free education, free quality education is what we must start to bring up. So we invest in teachers, invest in teacher trainings, invest in the environment that we're teaching our children in, and reward merit.
But before you leave that question, you know, specifically now, should you win next year, would you reduce the tuition fee in LASU?
Yes, and I also make sure that there's a program for people to be able to get student loans.
All right, okay.
Right, so because I have to sit down with last one and say, okay, what is your income? How is it going? How can the state step in? And what can we also do? So it's a teamwork thing, but it's a teamwork thing that ensures that everybody wins.
All right. Okay, I think that basically covers it. Let's get back to it. 09136000410. Don't forget that we're also live on YouTube and Facebook at Mainland 98.3 FM. All right, so let's get back to it. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Sandra.
Good evening.
Opayemi and Fuad, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to our guests.
Good evening, sir.
This is Mr. Akinla from Magician.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir. Opayemi, are you there?
I'm with you.
How are you, my friend?
I'm very well.
Compliment of the season to you all.
Same to you.
No, to our contestant there, Mr. Vivour, I think.
Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour.
Gbadebo Rhodes, yes.
Labour Party.
Yes. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you.
You have spoken very well. But there's something I want you to look into, sir.
Yes, sir.
During this period of elections, we hear so many promises from our people, our leaders, to come into government. But it is easier said than done, sir. Gbadebo, it is very easy for people to sit down and say all these things. But by the time they get into the government or they get power, another thing entirely will be seen. That's our problem here. All these things you are saying, what we say, the present government, Gbadebo, will need to us more than this. In 2022.
Okay.
So that's more than this.
What's the
That's
question?
what the entire
Yeah. Okay. So the question is if he's going to, work the.
Are we going to be seeing them like we are seeing in Babajide? So will we be able to call him to the studio to talk to him like this again? Will people see him to talk to him like this?
Accountability to the people.
Is it going to be easy?
Okay.
Are we going to question him? We need to be easy when they get power now. Is that when they will put their head back and they will be calling it?
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. They will be going to so many encourages.
Thank you. You take two
Hello.
questions.
Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yes. Good evening.
Yes, so good evening. My name is Eric, calling from Corona.
Eric, okay.
Ah, man. Wait. I think I no go want speak English. No go want speak Pidgin now.
Oh, voila.
So the location has been very our day to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. I don't even know what to say again because I think I've made up my mind because I was even living in Kalimosho, like the Gowon estate then, which local government was the most of Konla. I can tell you here that look, the governor himself was the one that fixed that lady there. So look, today the Hallelujah boys, she's not the best thing happen. The Hallelujah boys, they are listening and at least they are listening to what the man is saying.
Okay.
For me, everybody that wants to follow, anybody that wants his vote to be count this time, please, let's just even change.
Okay.
Like the Osun people, let's just even try.
All right.
Let's try for the very first time. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. It's a comment. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, Lady Sandra. All my family in the studio, a very good evening to you all. Our guest, how are you?
I'm great, sir.
Okay, may God bless you.
Amen.
You see, as for me, it works very well.
Okay.
I love you for everything, please.
Thank you, sir.
But number one, you see, Lagos is moving forward. Let us see it moving. People are going to Lagos every day. Lagos is jam packed because everybody wants to go to Lagos. But to some people, they don't know the difference between suburb and the main city. If you are living in Okokomato, or you live in Agbadebo, you are living in Lagos. But you are living in suburb of the city. And the development can't go around. Like somebody like me now, who always patronize from the mighty this road they were doing now.
Prince
Some of us wish our government to come and question to you is this.
Okay.
Please and please, because we want all of us to develop Lagos. If it happens, we did not win the election, will you take if there is party to come and be commissioner of education in Lagos, will you take it? That's my question to you.
Okay, one more question.
We've always had this conversation of, was it alliance? I mean,
he has asked this question.
Support group and all.
Right.
Hello, good evening. Okay. 09136000410. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening.
I greet everybody in the house.
You're welcome.
I greet your guests.
I greet you too, sir.
Yeah, I don't have much
Your name?
to say, but what I want to say is that I want to pray for you and I wish you good luck.
It's okay. What's your name?
And where are you calling from?
My name is Ezekiel. I'm calling from Ikeja. May God bless you.
Is your good evening.
I'm Papa John. Because of you, very fine. So, about the transportation system, about the public school, making them the lady with you there.
All right. right. Is
Okay,
that the
thank you,
question?
Mr. Federer.
I think he's happy with the state of the public schools in Lagos.
Yeah, I'm
But
not
what
Yeah.
there are a lot of
Yeah, we do continue with it. So
We'll get
we looked into. So now over to
about responsive, consistent. Without it, they're riding around in or commission something, right, in 3 years' time. But there are people that are living that reality every morning, every day. There are people that are living the reality of that. So groups are important. What I call in, complain, and all of that, and then I come in on a particular day to address it and to get into position of governance. But governance is 4 years, and the government your followers. It doesn't really have changed the lives of people. So it's important to maintain that Lagos is in by classifying. We have settled in mediocre paying members. Talking about the amount of debt. They are. And you cannot say, okay, because somewhere is outside VI and Ikoyi, they are in the suburbs. No. Most of the people that come and work in this, when you look at the cost and the cost of implementing a development that we have gotten in this state, right? So for me, my father was going to Badagry every weekend when he was younger. The roads were good, in Badagry. So these are different ideas. You can make it boss. Sure. Public schools. 1 to 40. You cannot even overwork teachers to that point and expect they'll be giving quality education. Do more to incentivize. We must invest in that. We must increase salaries that are paid. Peter Obi was talking about how his daughter is a teacher and how much fulfillment. A program that they can come and teach and give that knowledge to the school. You complete. They are painted yellow or green. I would say I was mediocre when I was school in Nigeria. Now I did not need to cram and draw the experiment anymore. I was doing the experiments myself. So I could now understand this thing that I was drawing and cramming in my notebooks. So that's why when Nigerians go abroad, they excel. A lot of them excel because
there's a system that allows them to explore.
That is what we need to give. We need to create an education system that gives people practical knowledge. Knowledge that can be applied. Not knowledge you're just cramming. Make learning fun. Make being excellent fun. Right, and that's the kind of education we're looking to bring. The rail system will definitely be continued. It should not be continued at the mediocre pace that is producing 16 kilometers of rail in 16 years. No.
1 kilometer per year, maybe.
Pretty much. We're not going to do that. We're delivering 4.5 rail lines in 4.5 years. That's what. And also, this is one that's building most of the train stations for this red line. Of their way to Kokomaiko, it has been shortened. And now, because an election is coming, they are trying to just wrap it up to make it a campaignism government. We want a government that is delivering on their promises and they deliver to make sure the lives of people are improved by water and proper movement by rail. And we are going to ensure that BRT lanes are maximized to run efficiently. And we are going to be using innovation and technology to make ride sharing a new normal in Lagos schools, pedestrianizing certain parts of it, ensuring that people can move around the most efficient way that they can. And also use driver and one person taking up so much space. Right, so we need to reduce that, but we have to create alternatives first.
All right. At this time now, we've actually run out of time.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That would be lovely.
We've done 90 minutes.
If you told me to guess that, I said 30 minutes.
Oh, well, it's always like that.
I'm very impressed. You guys, well done.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we still have the line is still buzzing. There are a lot of messages.
Wow.
But then
I'll take those messages.
You can follow me on GRV Lagos on Twitter. I always engage on Twitter.
Okay.
If you have
I think we are working on some other opportunities for Lagosians to hear you out. We are working on something more like a governorship debate.
I'll be happy to come.
All right, so
I'm very impressed.
You have the commitment from
I'm very impressed with your questions.
Did you get that?
Did you discuss that?
I'm a man of my word.
All right, so you were giving your handles just in case people want to.
Yes, GRV Lagos on Twitter, GRV Lagos on Instagram, GRV Lagos on Facebook.
So they can interface with you.
No, they should also watch out for the debate. It's going to happen.
It is good.
Yeah,
I'm very happy to do that.
All right, so that's a wrap. Ask about cleaner Lagos. Lagos is very dirty.
Extremely.
But thank you, Okwayemi Akiode. It's always a pleasure to do this with you. Fuhad Sahid, thank you. My name still remains Omobola Sandra, and this is Ballot 20. Gbadebo Rhodes Vivour will be here live also by 7 p.m. So